If you wanted the best handling track day car, you would buy a Lotus. That is pretty much fact. The 211 we have here, for example, may only have 250 odd horsepower and a top speed of just over 150, yet it can be driven so fast through the corners that its lap time around our track is only 0.2 of a second slower than a 458 Italia, though at the moment it's not being driven particularly well because, well, it's me that's driving it. It's also by far the highest ranked A-class car on our leaderboard. The 211 is very much a track day car though, it doesn't even have a roof. So, what if you wanted a great handling car for the road? You could go for the Elise or the Exige, and while they are great cars, they are still very track orientated. I have something slightly different in mind though. This is a Lotus Esprit V8, and it is one of the most powerful Lotuses ever made with 350 horsepower. While that doesn't sound a huge amount compared to many sort of modern day sports cars, it's still enough to get it from 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds and a top speed of nearly 180, and I'd say that's pretty respectable. So from the speed front, things are looking good, but what about the handling? This isn't exactly a small car, and at £2,800 is not particularly light, or at least by Lotus standards that is. However, I am happy to report this drives almost exactly like every other Lotus. Throw it into a corner and there is huge amounts of grip. It really is surprisingly agile for a car of this size. If you really do keep trying and pushing it, it will have some sort of oversteery moments, but the joy of a Lotus is there's never enough power for these to ever be a serious problem. While I do enjoy driving this car, even if I did go on the grass a little bit there, I do have a slight issue with it, and that is the brakes. They're just not quite as powerful as I'd like. There is huge amounts of grip when you get to the corners, but you seem to lose a bit of time because you just have to brake that little bit earlier than you would like. Even with this though, the Esprit is still a very quick car. It's also very reasonably priced at only 44,000 credits. There aren't many cars that will go faster for less. Outside of the Exige, the only cars I can think of, maybe a TVR Tuscan or a Viper SRT10, and both of them will probably try and kill you at some point. I have to say, this is also a rather good looking car. It even resembles the original Esprit, yes, that's the Bond one, which turned into a submarine, and I'd say that's pretty cool. Overall, this is really rather a good car. It might be bigger, heavier and more at home on the roads than the track, but when you do show it some corners, it's still a very capable race car. For the money, personally I would have the Viper, but that's because I'm a little bit biased on this matter. However, as a combination of price, handling, speed and looks, the Esprit is really rather hard to beat, but now it is time to hand it over to the Stig and see what lap time it can do. Here we are on the line with the Esprit on a cloudy, miserable day in England like it normally is. Anyway, expectation wise, this is a pretty low A class, I think it's like 511 PI, so we wouldn't expect it to be very high on our leaderboard. However, it is a Lotus, and we do know Lotuses can surprise us, so who knows what the Esprit will be able to do. Coming up to the first corner now, and it's looking very nice through here actually. There's a little bit of oversteer on the exit, only a tiny amount. This is a really quite a nice handling car, it really surprised me. Despite its sort of size and it being more powerful than normal and weighing more, it's a really nice handling Lotus, like they all are really. Coming through Chicago, you can see it's still very nice and composed. Now onto a straight line. This is faster than most normal Lotuses, like the Elise, the Exige and so on. This does do quite a decent amount of top speed. Stig carries a lot of speed into the first part of the hammerhead, and he's going to understeer a little bit into the second part, but it's all around there quite nicely. He hasn't lost too much time. There's up towards the follow through now, and again it can unleash all of the 350 horsepower, and when you say that out loud it doesn't really sound that much, but it is quite a lot in this sort of car, and it's through the follow through. It wasn't quite flat out, it was so close to being flat out through there. It's just a tiny lift, and it's very quick through the tyre wall. It's up to the second to last corner now, heavy on the brakes into this corner. This is a nasty corner, this one. Stig's getting it almost sideways into there. Really testing the tyres on that one. And it's up to the final corner. We have a little bit of understeer there, and there we go. It is across the line. So the lap time for the Lotus Esprit, well, it did it in a 1. I've forgotten the time. I have to wait for it to appear on my screen, and my computer has died. No, there it is. 1:20.4. There we go. Thank you, computer, for being rubbish on that bit. Yes, it did 1:20.4, which is really quite an impressive time from the Esprit. It's faster than Bentley Continental, one of the early Vipers, a Seat touring car. It's quicker than that. That's a really impressive time there from the Esprit, and it is a really nice car, I have to say. So yes, there we go. That is it for this video, guys, so thank you very much for watching. As ever, if you have cars you'd like to see me review, then please do leave them in the comment section and I will have a look through and I will pick my favourite. I also like to say thank you to the guy who did the new banner for our channel page. I'm sorry I hadn't mentioned this earlier. Yeah, it's really cool banner. It was crazy designs, the same guy who did our logo. I'll put links in the description so you go check out his stuff. But anyway, that is it for this video, guys. So until next time, goodbye.